Hello, everybody, and welcome to the newest indoor adventure in the Four Keeps Legacy Part 6. This is our 99th episode. I know I said 2 weeks ago when last we played that this was going to be the big one hundo, but hey, if you missed out on watching this session live, make sure that you are there for the start of next week's episode because we have something in store for all of you, and I'm very excited about it. But today is August 17th, 2020, and you are loved. And that is a very important thing that we like to remind each and every single one of our listeners at the beginning of each and every single one of these sessions. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/indooradventures to check up on all of the VODs that we have, of games that we've played up until this point, or you can go towards anywhere audio casts are made available for free, and you can find us there under the same moniker. And speaking of things that are being hosted for free, if you go to patreon.com/indooradventures, you can find our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from the community, but also from each other. And it's also a really easy way to connect to our Discord, which, if you haven't already, you can find in a link down below or in the side off on one of the chats that we have going. So consider checking that out. And until the end of tonight's game, so sorry everyone who listens to the audio casts and the VODs, we have a contest going on. So if you would like to become, do they become a member of Tyrant Security?
They become a member of Tyrant Security, yes.
In good standing, hopefully. Or you can possibly get turned into like a town or something else like that, all by just entering into a contest to become an NPC for the Homebrew campaign, which, hey, guess what? That includes today as well as Thursday. And like we said, that's only going to the end of tonight. We will announce the winner after the show. And what does the winner get? A sweet piece of Tiamat merch, whether a mask, a t-shirt, maybe a mug, I don't know. We'll mess around with the Tiamat designs and figure something out so that way you guys can have something pretty cool. And hey, if you are looking for other merch-related things, whether it be Tiamat, Hint of Fae, or our dear friend Todd the Dread Goat, consider then going to indooradventure.redbubble.com. We have t-shirts, we got posters, we got mugs, we have all sorts of things available for you guys. So check that out. But that is it for my spiel. So stuff that I'm going to be checking out. Hey, RJ, who you playing tonight?
Hey everybody, I'm RJ, but tonight I'll be playing Caelum, the Shadowkai Wizard Cleric.
Hi, I'm LBHackEmUp, and I'm playing Gwen, the Halfling Barbarian Fighter.
Hoi!
I'm Cyber. I use he, him pronouns and I play Arjhan, a Draconian fighter who also uses he, him.
I'm Wings, and I'm playing as Cori, the Eldritch Paladin.
And I am the Indoor Adventurer, and tonight I shall be your Dungeon Master. So, last we left off, it was a little bit of a tumultuous situation. It's also been about 2 weeks, so let's give a brief recap of the events that transpired. As you guys were going through the Grove of the Hermit, making your way towards this ancient broken-down cathedral, you ended up fighting a series of shadow creatures, including a creature known as a Nightmare Shepherd, which doubled in sapping your strength, and as you continued through this woods, you all heard what sounded like murmurs and echoes of conversation, all that were enunciated by a sound of a heartbeat once every 10 minutes. After a short rest to regain the strength that you had lost when fighting your shadows, you made your way to this abandoned cathedral where you could hear clearly the echoes of that heartbeat coming from. As you made your way in, you saw an old enemy of not just Gwen's, but also Cori's, Chorin, the Shadow Talker, a kind of shadowy sorcerer who had once belonged to Gwen's tribe, but tried to overthrow her, claiming that she wasn't the true chieftain. And so, Gwen got rid of him as best she could, but he had teleported away, taking with him Cori's left arm. However, as luck would have it, you guys found that left arm last session. Yay! But it was attached to a shadow Eladrin figure that was seen rising at the waist from an altar and then getting off and looking at your party. It was at this point that you all were able to take a surprise round action against this shadow sorcerer and dealt with them incredibly handedly. I believe the only person who was not able to actually act upon this round was Coriander, who was stuck in a surprise round. As Arjhan, you, Caelum, as well as Gwen were able to deal enough damage to this sorcerer to put him on his last leg. However, in his dying moments, you all heard the heartbeat again as an alabaster white hand came out from a stairwell behind the altar, and you saw an elven figure with piercing blue eyes and jet black hair come up from the stairs and the darkness within. And as they looked out towards your group, they said, "You should have let me sleep." And as they said this, the book that Chorin had, this shadow grimoire with the face of a bovine-like creature, came from his hand over to the elven figures, and both of them were wreathed in shadow, much to Chorin's surprise, and together they formed into a gargantuan creature in the back of this cathedral, with 5 shadowed heads raining down and looking upon all of your group. And that is where we are picking up for this evening. So that was the end of the surprise round. Arjhan, looking at this creature, you don't see any kind of draconic markings on it. You don't have any reason to believe that this would be like a shadow Tiamat or another shadow dragon. You guys already fought a shadow dragon previously. This does not seem like that, but these are serpentine-like heads that extend from this large round body that it seems to have, with 4 legs at the bottom. What would you like to do as we start the top of the round with Arjhan, who had a 22 for initiative?
The humanoid that came out from under the stairs, was he giving off undead vibes?
Make an Arcana check.
I'm mostly asking because I am still suffering that short-term madness. And I would like to know how I'm reacting. 8.
8. So this guy definitely seemed like he was just emanating this undead necromantic energy from him. As his voice descended, as he came up out of the stairwell, it didn't even seem like it was still himself. It seems like he was taken over by something greater.
You must die. I would like to...
And he has become this... we'll say it's a shadow hydra. That'll make it easier.
I had a hunter's mark up last time, didn't I?
Yes. The hunter's mark is because you had targeted Chorin initially, and Chorin has since become this thing. You don't need to reassign the hunter's mark. It has just transitioned onto this.
Well, bonus action to move it.
Yes.
Okay, let's take a couple of attacks. At this new challenger. 14.
A 14. I don't believe it does not hit.
Natural 20 for a 31.
Yeah, that'll do her.
Okay. Force or acid, any resistances?
Let me check real quick. It is immune to acid damage, but not immune to force.
Okay.
Yeah.
24 points of damage for the first one that hits, which was the second attack.
Okay.
29.
29 totally hits.
Uh, 17 points of force damage.
Okay. So as you hit with the second bolt, you see one of the heads on this creature kind of riles up and then begins to fall, and it looks like the connecting portion of that head to the rest of the body begins to dissipate as it falls. But as it hits the ground and begins to sink into this pile of darkened tree sap, something happens as two shadows arise from the fallen head.
I would like to move myself in a way where I am not around the rest of the party and also the Shadow Eladrin,
Okay.
and hopefully garner the attention of this Shadow Hydra.
Okay. Sounds good.
And be off the ground.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so then next up in the initiative order is the Shadow Eladrin, as well as the shadows themselves, as they move on initiative count 20. So Gwen, you had rushed up to strike out against Chorin, so that is putting you directly in front of this large Hydra that has since looked down and roared at you with what used to be 5 heads, but is now 4, but there are 2 shadows that have arisen since then, and these 2 shadows are going to strike out towards you.
Oh boy.
That's a natural 1 for the first attack, so you know. It's good. And a 21 to hit on
That
the second.
hits.
Okay, so with that, they are going to deal 10 points of necrotic damage and then roll a d4.
Roll a d4.
Yep.
Oh, I like that.
Oh yeah, remember this?
Yeah, they sap your strength.
3.
Your strength score is reduced by 3.
Ball sack. Guess I'll just mark that down.
All right, so it is at that point that the Shadow Eladrin is going to move past Gwen from a farther side until they can get a good angle looking at you, Cori. I need you to make a wisdom save.
Supposed to be good at those. 22.
Okay. So you feel the effects of a compelled duel wash over you. But
Can I choose to fail?
I mean, you can.
I choose to fail.
All right, sweet. You are now under the effects of a compelled duel spell with the Shadow Coriander.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm already under the effects of a compelled duel, regardless of what she does.
And when she had arrived, she didn't have a weapon in her hand, but when she casts this compelled duel, she extends a hand out towards you, and you see from the shadows a blade manifests. And with that is what she uses to point towards Yi. So
Don't like that.
that is all that Shadow Cori can do. Next up is Caelum.
How far is Arjhan from me?
Arjhan, I would say, is probably about 20 feet.
Cool. I'm gonna point at him and cast haste.
Okay.
It's his birthday.
Hummingbird Arjhan, let's go. Are there any like pews that I can duck behind to make myself less of a threat?
Yeah, I'd say that you would be able to do that.
Cool, do that. And then that's my turn.
Okay. So you will be behind 3/4 cover. Next up is the Hydra. And the Hydra regains some HP as from the spot where the one head had fallen and dissipated, 2 more end up growing. Now there are 5 total heads. Or 6 total heads, sorry.
Maybe you should stop with the head chop off thing.
Okay, so then it is up to them, and they can take 1 bite attack per round as for as many heads as they have. So Gwen, you being directly in front of them, they are going to make a series of chompies towards you.
Why you gotta say it like that?
So first chompy, 13.
Nope. Close though.
What about a 16?
That means.
Okay. So that is going to be for 9 points of piercing damage. Then third attack, that is a 27 to hit.
Yep.
For 19 points of piercing.
Okay.
Fourth head, 22 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
And that is for 20 points of piercing.
Okay.
Fifth head.
Uh-huh. I am still raging, right? Like.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Fifth head got
I'm at
a natural 20.
Fuck, I'm at 69 though.
Womp, 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 womp. Nice. So that is for 30 points of piercing damage. And then the sixth head gets a
Jesus.
19.
I thought you said there were only 4 left.
Every time a Hydra's head goes away,
Right.
2 more take its place.
Right,
Yeah.
but I thought you said the head became 2 shadows,
It did.
not 2 heads.
So when the head fell off of the body,
No low stones.
2 shadows appeared. At the start of its turn, 2 heads came up from where the original head had been taken.
Well, fuck.
No
Yep.
last dose. So for the 6th head attack. Oh my god, that's another natural 20. This makes up for last night. Yay!
Yay.
So that is going to be for 38.
I'm sorry.
For a total of 38. So, you know, half that.
15, this is 19 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Gwen went from 100 to 35, so
By tanking every single attack from the Hydra.
yeah.
That's good, though. That's a fun time.
Yeah.
So, next up is Cori.
Alright. Cori will similarly draw her sword. And she's going to run at the Eldrin figure.
Okay.
And have glorious combat. But first I'm going to use a bonus action to put a Channel Divinity on her.
Okay.
Which is to say, God, it's been a couple of weeks. A Vow of Enmity.
Your shadow has latched on to the shadow of yourself.
It's a lot
This
of
is a
shadows
weird
going on
game.
here. It's a lot of shadows happening over here. But yes, I attack. Advantage doesn't help much when you roll poorly. 16 to hit?
16 misses.
Okay, well, how about I try D&D Beyond? Be kind to me. 22.
A 22 does hit.
Alright, I'm gonna put a 3rd level smite on this.
Okay.
You know what? No, I'll put a 2nd level smite on this. So that's gonna be 7 slashing damage. Yeah. Go away. Thank you. And then apologize. No, I have this here. There it is. I made macros on D&D Beyond for this. 18 radiant damage.
Okay. So 7 and 18 for a total of 25.
Yep.
Okay.
And I believe that is it for now.
All right. Sounds good. Shadow Cori is going to use a legendary action
Uh-oh.
to make a longsword attack against you. And that is a 19.
A 19 hits.
Okay. So they are going to...
Minus 12.
That's a good call, because they aren't going to hold reservation and will use a 3rd level smite.
Oh!
Okay, so that is... What?
I've been adding the wrong rage damage for a long time.
We love you!
This
More
is what I
strong?
get for using D&D Beyond.
It's never been easier to miss what you
Fucking
were
3
supposed to
whole
be doing.
levels.
Okay, so that is going to be for 18 points of necrotic damage from the base sword.
Whoa.
And then, let me see here. Followed up with 15 more points of necrotic damage as they use their unholy smite.
Holy shit.
Next up, Gwen. Gwen, you got 2 shadows, a shadow hydra, and then Shadow Cori's fighting real Cori.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna go after the biggest thing, because that's what I would do. I will use my bonus action to cast, well, not cast, to do second wind. So oh, that's massive. 7 hit points back there. And then I'm going to make 2 attacks against this Hydra. I'm going to not attack the heads. And I'm going to use... I'll use the Sunforger on this one, so I'm doing bludgeoning damage, not slashing damage.
Okay.
Okay. So 2 attacks.
Yeet.
25 for the first one. Oh, and a natty 20 for
Blah, blah,
31
blah, blah.
on the second one. So that's wait, really? The Sunforger's 2d10? Holy shit, what have I been doing with my life? So that's the first hit is 16. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get all that. So total 19 plus 19 and 25 damage.
Okay. So a total of 34.
Mm-hmm.
No, is that 44?
44?
Oh, no. No, that's not right. Because it was already giving me the... I was like, wait a minute. Okay. It was already it was saying that 2d10 was what the Sunforger was doing.
Off
No,
of
But
That's
crit.
that's with the crit. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
I was like,
so
I don't
19...
remember doing that.
Yeah, I was like, oh god, I feel like I've been doing it wrong. So the first one is 19.
Gotcha.
The second one is 12 plus 3, so 15.
Okay, so 34.
Yes. Sorry.
It came full
Sometime-
circle.
It did. Sometimes you love it, sometimes you hate it.
All right. And it has taken a significant amount of bludgeoning damage from you. But it seems just like as when you were fighting the Shadow Dragon, it doesn't seem like the Sunforger is doing as much against this creature as you would expect.
Even though it's magical.
Yes.
And oh god, do I remember? Did the Runtax do more, or did it seem about the same?
It seemed about the same. It
Solid.
looks like fighting this creature of darkness inside of a darkened, enclosed area might put it at more of an advantage.
Okay, but if I blew up the Sun Forger,
That is always an option.
okay, noted. For next turn.
Okay. Sounds good. So, Gwen, at the end of your turn, Shadow Cori is going to use another legendary action to strike out against her quarry. Doesn't hit. Not enough. Next up, our hasty boy, Arjhan.
I am still completely unloading on the Hydra.
Yep.
23.
23 hits.
£16.
Okay. And Arjhan, your force bolts seem like they are working as well as you would intend.
Okay. 22.
22 hits.
10 points of force damage.
Okay.
23.
23 hits.
$19 points of force damage. Fourth attack. 28.
That'll hit.
15 points of force damage. How's it looking?
Holy shit. Let me tally all of this real quick. So that's 31, and then that would be 50. You just dealt 60 damage?
Mm-hmm.
Holy piss. Okay.
How's it doing?
It's not looking too hot.
Action surge.
Okay.
Do it to it.
30.
That'll hit.
$19 points of damage.
Yep.
That's fifth. Sixth attack. 30.
That'll hit.
Everything's culminating into this one shot.
20.
Oh my god. Okay.
Still up.
Yep.
Seventh attack. 24.
24 hits.
16 points of force damage.
It's like, what, 100 points of force damage right now?
It's still up. It is looking mighty winded from this barrage of fucking like laser bolts that you're shooting out of your gun. Well, out of your crossbow.
And that is because it has not taken any of the acid damage that I would be doing. So that's my 7 shots in my turn.
Okay.
Just gotta let him.
Sounds good.
I only get one more attack from haste.
So, Shadow Cori is going to... They are going to use Misty Step.
That's a
Counterspell.
spell.
It is. Counterspell? All right.
Oh.
Sounds good.
Well, you can still attack because they're casting.
Yeah. You
You're
still
just
get your
using your-
Mage Slayer proc.
Yeah.
I do that then.
am I close to them? Do I get my mage player shit?
You do not.
Oh shit! Hold on, I have an advantage with this. Oh, thank you, D&D Beyond. That's a natural 20.
Bwomp, womp, womp, womp.
Blomp indeed. 3rd level smite.
Holy
Baby.
shit.
Where do you think
so
you're
that's
going?
gonna be 17 slashing damage. And with my 3rd level smite, oh, that's a lot of dice. 40 radiant damage.
Shadow Cori is looking pretty fucking messed up at this point.
That's good.
But it is still her turn.
Okay.
And she is going to retreat into the cathedral and get near the shadows that were assaulting Gwen. And you see her put the left gauntleted hand against her chest as she uses a lay on hands.
Of course she does.
Yep, that is it for her turn. Next up, Caelum.
They're in a ball. Steel Wind Strike.
Okay.
Alright, here we go. First is one shadow for 14.
That'll hit.
It takes 43 points of force damage.
It's dead.
Second shadow, 13.
13 also hits.
For 34.
It's dead.
Cori is a 19.
19 just hits.
Oh, it's on the low end. 43 again for force damage on Nega Cori, and a 22 on the Shadow Hydra.
22 hits.
For 36 points of force damage.
Okay.
And I'll saddle up next to the Shadow Hydra.
What Shadow Hydra?
Oh, I'll saddle up next to Cori.
The Shadow Hydra had a decent amount of HP, but then Arjhan went off and y'all started throwing down. So as its form sort of dissipates and falls, you see elven figure holding his book fall down to the ground, as well as what looks like you saw Chorin not even 18 seconds ago at this point. He looked fine. He now looks very withered up, like a lot of his remaining life essence was actually drawn out into this Hydra. Yes, Caelum.
Oh, I was gonna say, from the pews, Caelum throws his shield and it ricochets between all the enemies. Everyone's watching it, and he appears next to Shadow Cori and catches it.
Okay. Sounds
And then there's the...
excellent. So it is now Shadow Cori's turn. And she's just gonna stab you.
Didn't Shadow Cori just take a turn?
She had yes, she did. So legendary action is what I was meaning. Sorry.
No worries.
Still a longsword attack against the boy, but yeah, that is a 26 to hit. She's going to use another third level spell slot.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Arjhan. This is gonna suck. Oh wait, is it half damage? Concentration.
-10.
Half the damage I received.
So it is, you get hit with 28 points of necrotic damage.
Which gets halved.
Yep, because you're a Shadarkai.
So 14 plus... Oh, that's it.
Yep. Because it was just a legendary action. She only makes one longsword attack.
Did you save?
I rolled 2 1s on an advantage.
Oof. Owie.
Next up, Cori.
Cool. I face step next to Shadow Cori. She's gonna take, I believe it's
5?
5 fire damage. God, I have so many seasons. When did this happen?
You're a very seasoned individual.
I'm quite seasoned, indeed.
Cori is the spice of life.
With Summer, it's fire damage equal to my charisma modifier, which is 4 now.
Okay.
So she takes 4 fire damage, and I'm gonna attack her twice. Attack the first. Oh wait, shit. Sorry, keep on forgetting to do it at advantage. Attack first, 23.
23 hits.
Alright, another 3rd level smite. That's gonna be 13 slashing damage. And the smite will be in this tab. 22 radiant damage.
You don't need to make a second attack.
Okay.
Cori, what does the final blow against your shadowed self look like?
So Shadow Cori attacks Caelum, and like you didn't even take that much damage all said and done after you halved it, and then it was reduced by Gwen. So he just tanks it like a badass, and then Cori appears behind her in a whirl of flame, and then just sticks that sword like with enough force to lift her up off the ground, and then she drops her to the floor.
Okay. And I imagine that there is, like, you lift her up with sword blade, hands go onto the sword to try and do something, but then just drop, and they clatter onto the floor, or at least the only sound of clatter that you hear is from the left-handed gauntlet. And then your shadow self, too, also dissipates, and the area around you all grows deathly quiet. But you are no longer in combat.
Is Chorin still there?
His corpse is.
Solid.
Arjhan drops out of the sky as the haste spell dissipates on him.
Featherfall.
That wasn't that power up.
Let me have this.
Oh, what the
Save
fuck
your
just
spells.
happened?
So yeah, there is passed out elven figure who has this book in his hand. Chorin's emaciated corpse. And then you all standing in this otherwise ruined cathedral. And then there seems to be a set of stairs that lead down past the altar where Chorin was at.
I imagine Cori goes to examine Chorin and see if he's still alive.
He dead.
Yeah, super dead. He's got all mummified. And like the other guy, is he still alive?
Make a medicine check.
I'll assist. I was gonna go check on him anyway.
Yeah. Roll with advantage, Cori.
Okay. Nat 20.
He doesn't have a pulse, but he seems to be breathing.
I can relate.
Same.
Yeah. So she's just crouched next to Chorin, and then the other guy, like his chest rises and falls, and she like narrows her eyes at him. She's gonna go give him she's gonna, I don't know, walk up to him and be like, "Who is this?"
He looks almost peaceful in his slumber. In his unconscious slumber, anyways.
I don't know who he is, but I do recognize the book.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is he alive?
He's probably, yeah. I've seen this book before. It was in the dream that Soul had gifted us.
Uh-huh.
The ramifications of finding it weren't great. So, you know what? I elect to leave this alone.
Does this guy need any healing?
He could probably use some healing if you wanted to talk to him. You guys did just see him turn into a shadow hydra that then tried to eat you. Well, I say tried. It gave some nibbles on Gwen, and then you guys exploded it.
I'm gonna give him some lay on hands, but not wake him.
What are you doing?
At least not intentionally.
Gwen, you heal 22.
Ah,
24.
Caelum, if you're gonna do that, you gotta just hit me from the front because I'm like a horse. You come at me from behind and I'm gonna smack you.
Okay.
Solid.
I give Shadow Friend 30 hit points.
Okay.
Gwen, are you still down?
I'm good.
Some.
I mean, I could use 3 more healing.
You've got it.
Yes.
69.
Yeah.
If you like it so much, it's yours.
Is anyone else confused about what just happened?
Hey, Arjhan?
Barry.
Oh, geez, Arjhan, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I didn't get touched during that fight.
I know, but you look all, like, tired and shit.
Yeah, that's
Haste.
what haste does to you. Don't do speed, kids.
Is that... Is that what that was? Caelum, you gotta try that on me sometime.
I did.
You what?
Arjhan, that was remarkable.
It was badass, dude.
Is our plan really to leave the book?
Seeing as... Sorry, Gwen.
No, I don't even know what it is, so I don't know why we're leaving it.
It's a shadow tome that does really bad things to people, but all things considered, since Shorin disturbed this man's slumber, he came after him, I think it's more trouble than it's really worth.
What configuration is this guy in? Like, is he just like laying back? Is he like face down?
He was like on his side, almost in like a very relaxed fetal position. Like his leggies were up a little bit. He had his arms off to the side, and it looked like he was just like holding on to this grimoire. But he is like, his clothes seem a little tattered, if not mostly just worn. It doesn't look like he actually suffered significant damage during the fight. It seems like, if anything, just the fact of drawing this life essence from him has caused him to just become weakened.
If you feel like waking him up to find out his intentions, by all means, I'm going to be prepping some more spells in the corner over there.
No, I don't really feel like we need to go that far. Arjhan is going to step on this dude's chest, point blank his crossbow at his face, and grab the tome from his hand.
Okay. The figure wakes to this large draconic foot pressed up against his chest. And Arjhan, as you pull this book, like, the fingers were a little lax at first, and then as you're pulling it more, they sort of go to grab and just... No.
Don't speak.
And they just look at you with a very tired expression, but they realize the danger that they have found themselves in. And do as
What's
you
your
say.
name?
They raise a finger.
1.
Release
Finger?
the book.
Huh?
Release the book. I'm speaking to this guy.
He looks like he wants to say something, but just, again, realizes the position that he's in and just...
You can say your name. What's your name?
I've still got some counter spells handy if you want him to speak.
Answer the
Arjhan?
question.
Hadarai, and you really don't know what you're doing.
I mean, obviously, but what is this book?
I could tell you if I wasn't lying on the ground.
Cori's gonna reach out and grab Arjhan's crossbow.
Don't you
Just like
dare.
hand over the bolt.
Just let him... You can speak on the ground just as well as you can speak standing up.
That is a very ancient, very dangerous book.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't trust anyone else to hold on to it.
Why
You
should we
attacked
trust you to
us.
hold on to it?
Because I have for the last 20 years, and this is the only time that anything like this has happened. I don't
Insight
know who you are.
check.
Make an insight check.
21.
When he says something like this, you're pretty sure that he's referring to Shadow Hydra. There may have been other things that happened during that time, but he is, for the most part, on the up and up. If you don't want something terrible to happen, you will return the book to me. That isn't a threat. That is a warning for your sake and mine.
Arjhan, hand him back the book.
Please. Caelum, we say please.
And
Please.
figure just extends both hands up and like they squint a little bit looking at you, Arjhan, because again, you still have a piece of artillery pointing down towards them.
Yep.
We clearly don't know what this book is. He does.
Are you preventing something from happening that is already set in motion, or is it the potential of danger that you're trying to protect against?
To answer the first question, I need to know what happened while I was asleep. To answer the second question, yes. I have been doing all that I can to make sure nothing comes of this tome.
Well, the half-orc that is mummified over... Well, no, sorry, the Goliath. Why did I think it was half-orc? Split lip, that's why. The Goliath that's currently a shriveling husk on the floor over there managed to take it away from you and was casting a dark ritual of some sort to bring the form of our friend to being. And is it supposed to be really fucky outside? Because it's really fucky outside.
And Haterai like looks towards you and like he's laying on the ground, but he like does his best to like try and look outside. For those who deal in things they don't understand, there are often unintended consequences.
Speaking to the choir.
Yeah, totally.
If
So
anything
you
is-
weren't working with Chorin?
Was that their name?
Yep.
This is my first time seeing them. I've been in a meditative trance for a long time.
What are you?
A high elf. Last I checked, anyways.
Looks up at Arjhan.
I mean, Arjhan's just staring at him. He has not moved his crossbow.
Hey, dude, I think there was a manipulation here. And, you know, like, you're a better shot from a distance anyways. I want to let him stand up?
You
Arjhan
hear a
says-
singular heartbeat come from this dude.
Oh, no, 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 no.
You're making it worse, Indoor.
He has a condition!
I don't trust it.
I mean, I don't trust it either, but I mean, you saw what we did to it in all of like 15 seconds. I mean, like 10 seconds.
Regardless of whether we trust him or not. He can't do anything with all four of us here.
Right.
We don't know that.
What was it?
You.
Some sort of giant, monstrous hydra made of shadow.
I see.
Before that, though, you came up the stairs, a bit beleaguered, muttering, "You should have let me rest." Then you pulled shadows and swallowed that one up. Shadow Hydra.
And Hadarai just like shakes their head in disbelief.
So clearly you don't understand what's going on either.
Hindsight. You're always able to look at the past and gain understanding, but future is always difficult.
So why do you deserve a second chance?
I don't. I never have, but I continuously find myself gaining them.
Why do any of us deserve a second chance?
You are making it very easy for me to decide to pull this trigger.
All right. Everyone calm down. Arjhan, let the boy stand up. Let's have a conversation where no one's pointing something at someone's face.
Oh, don't. You're not gonna make me lower my weapon.
Well,
Arjhan
I mean,
does,
okay.
Arjhan does step back.
Fair. Gwen will offer a hand to this gentleman cautiously.
He will take it, and he is very cold to the touch. But he will help himself up with, or he will stand up with your help. Thank you. What do I call each of you?
I'm Gwen.
Gwen?
Arjhan doesn't answer.
Cori.
C, for the time being. Hadarai, do you have a place where I can make some tea?
Yes, but you would have to follow me out of this place. I understand that you may have some trepidations in doing so, but last I remember it being mine, it's down this way. And he motions to the stairwell that leads down in the cathedral.
Lead the way. Tell us your story, dude. Convince us not to kill you. Not that we're bad guys and we just kill you, but like, you know, you did kind of try and hurt us. So you're kind of working uphill here.
And he nods. And says, and if you did kill me, maybe then I would finally know peace.
Arjhan, no.
Arjhan!
No.
I will hiss you and then drop it again, sir.
Immediately.
And Hadarai leads you all to his study area. Going down these flights of stairs, you arrive in what looks like a connecting chamber to a series of rooms, and as Hadarai is looking around, he is saddened by the state of the area that he has left himself in. The place where he thought to be his library had since been turned into a resting chamber for Chorin, with all of their machinations there. And he ends up leading you into a smaller room. It looks like it has a small stone stove, and he will take a pot off of the shelf, and you see him make a quick motion with his hand as a magical effect comes up. Arjhan, you can feel like your body tense, like, oh, he's gonna do it. He's gonna finger of death us right now when we least expect it. And then water comes out and fills the kettle that he has pulled off, and he just sets it onto the stove, pulls down pulls down the opening underneath. And again, magic, a small fire. And he begins looking around for teas for people. He doesn't have very much, as it turns out. Chorin kind of ransacked his stores while he was here.
What a deck.
Cori's going to interpose herself between Arjhan and Haterai, just casually.
Your story?
He says, "My story begins across the sea. I was a member of the Order of the Noble Fur, a group of teachers, professors, and other such individuals who did all that we could for the pursuit of knowledge. I had heard that there were petroglyphs to the north of the city of Vascor. I wanted to know what they were. So, I found out. It was a map of sorts, a map that led me to," and he motions. You guys have not given him his tome back. He motions towards the tome, and you can see, with these ever-burning torches that have been set up, Haterai's shadow is connected to this book's shadow. It doesn't seem like him, like it, while Arjhan is holding it, Haterai's shadow stretches unnaturally towards that shadow and meets with it. And he says, "And when I found it, I did my best to research what I could." And he gets a little bit of a concerned look on his face, and you see him mouth the name Micah, and it looks like he has a tinge of regret, and then he sort of shakes his head a little bit and says, "I asked individuals for help uncovering what lay inside of this tome. I failed them. I was kicked out of the academy. I was no longer a member of the Noble Fur. I became Haterai Fallen Leaf. But what I learned couldn't stay within the city. So I came here, to this place. I tried to hide away. And while hiding, I realized that the best thing for me to do would be to sleep. To rest indefinitely. Make sure that Grimoire never had an outlet. It is connected to me. That is my story.
The things you learned from this grimoire, I'm guessing they're world-shaking.
It is a journal. A research diary. And it houses something terrible within it. The only thing that I could tell from the name of this author is that they called themselves Nightfeather.
Caelum scoffs.
And Harurai looks at you, slightly puzzled. And then...
Of course, it has to be Nightfeather.
Gwen pulls out a notebook. Nightfeather.
I'm
Yes, Nightfeather.
Sorry, I don't understand your connection.
Sorry, I'm just thinking about how much I need to divulge. Probably all of it.
Well,
Probably.
So, Caelum will pull out his spellbook, and he'll flip it to the first page and show Harurai, and it says "See Nightfeather" on it.
Harurai will look at it, and he reaches out to grab the spell book, but in an inquisitive way. Like he wants to tactile see it better with his own eyes.
Yeah, I'll hand it to him.
And he looks at this, and then he looks over towards you, Arjhan, and he says, I am weakened. You have me surrounded. This is important.
I'd like to know his insight on See Nightfeather, at the very least. If he's read the grimoire, then he might know more.
So long as Arjhan is under these madness effects, he does not want to give up this book, especially if you ask him.
Has Cori been around him long enough to realize that this goes beyond his normal fears?
Absolutely.
Is there something Cori can do for him?
Does Cori have something like remove curse possibly prepped for
hell
today?
Yes, I do.
That could do it. At least as far as Cori's understanding.
I think that the three of them are looking pleadingly at Arjhan. The three of them plus Gwen. But I say the three of them because they look like monsters to him right now.
Yeah, they do.
She turns around, she just squints at him, and she says, "This isn't you."
How would you know?
Because I know you. You're my friend, Arjhan. She'll reach up slowly.
There's an undead warrior.
Yeah.
Just horror version of Cori. Like Shadow Cori was actually easier to look at than current Cori from Arjhan's perspective.
I think she even drops to shadow form, or to not shadow form, raven form as she does this. Sorry.
What does Arjhan do?
Worst. Hesitates, understanding his fear.
Don't fucking touch me.
Hey, this is Cori.
No, it's not. It may have been at one point, but I have no idea what the fuck this is.
Harurai like sees Cori change super quick and is like points up, looks over at you, Caelum, and then like points over towards Arjhan and mouths like, Does this normally happen?
Cori will just lower her hand and walk closer to him.
Arjhan, this is just Cori. Nothing's wrong with her.
Everything is wrong with her, Gwen.
Cori?
She'll get close enough that she's just point blank with his crossbow. And she gives him the most sorrowful look.
Arjhan, we gave you the benefit of the doubt when you were dealing with Tarlean. Give us the benefit of the doubt while we're dealing with this.
Do you cast a spell?
This is it. This is Civil War. This is when it's happening.
She'll reach slowly for him. Just put a hand over his on the crossbow.
What? He flinches.
I'm sorry.
You do not have a hole in your chest, but he flinches, and his hand is on the trigger.
She'll cast Remove Curse.
Okay. Arjhan, you are no longer afflicted by the madness of them there woods. Hadarai still looks a little weird. You've never met this elfin man before. But Caelum goes back to looking as you remember him looking. Cori goes back to being what you remember Cori to be. Although in raven form, but still Cori.
He'll lower the crossbow.
We good?
He doesn't respond.
Cori?
But he has left the book on the table.
Again, we'll pick it up and hand it to Hadarai.
And Hadarai will open up the spell book for Night Feather and that Caelum you've had, and flips it forward several pages to where it is your handwriting, Caelum. And then he sets the grimoire down on the table, opens it up, and you can see that it is a set of... Some pages are bound, others are just wrapped in twine and kind of stuffed into this book. This is the collected workings of someone who just wanted one place to keep all of their thoughts together that were later organized by, you're assuming, Hadarai. And Hadarai turns to a page, and as he opens it up, you see that it is written in a letterhead style. But it is written in your handwriting.
But what?
And as you look at this note, I'm going to send you something. RJ, I'd like for you to read it aloud to the class, if possible.
Oh my god.
Yes, sir.
What does this mean?
My dearest love, it has been years since I have seen you last, but I know it will not be much longer now. I know where it is. All my research leads to its existence, and I know what must be done. On tomorrow's morn, I will leave this place behind me and begin my journey through the ceaseless dark. But that is not what frightens me. The creatures on the other side do not frighten me. The unending chills of dread do not frighten me. The reasonable fact that I may die does not frighten me. No, my autumn sun. What frightens me is the possibility that I may never see your shining features, relieved of the anguish that has been instilled upon it. I know in all senses you may never read this note, but its presence stills my mind in these times. I will travel to the ends of the realms to bring you back to me, and if that does not bear successful fruit, then I will go beyond even that. Rest now, my beautiful queen. Rest and know that you will be restored. Yours, Nightfeather.
And as Caelum reads this, that is where we are going to go into our break for the evening. So I would like to say thank you to everybody who decided to stop on by. We are going to try and be back in 5 to 10
I
minutes.
hate every part of it.
So don't go to a place unless it's to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. Pick yourself up something nice. And we'll see you guys next time. All right, everybody. See you soon. Also enter the giveaway. And hello, everybody.
Connor!
Happy birthday
to you. Keep going.
Happy birthday
to you.
I just want to say that my computer buffered during the first part of that, like it normally does during the streams. And my God, was that so much worse for me than it was for any of you.
Happy
Birthday, dear Connor. Happy birthday to you.
We love you, bud.
Happy birthday, Connor!
Happy birthday.
I was in the motherfucking chat. So, we have returned after a glorious discovery by our dear friend Caelum, finding out that your handwriting is in this book from an individual calling themselves Nightfeather. And Haterai looks at you and then looks at the rest of the group. And he will actually, like, pull the lot of you over and point out at the fact that the handwriting is the same. So now everyone knows. At least everyone who speaks Elven knows. Or no, Caelum, you write your spells in Common?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone who speaks Common can see their note.
You know, this might as well happen.
That's so pretty. Wait.
Cori gets out her crow skull.
Okay. It is pointing, like, behind and up. Or actually, did you pick up your left arm?
I did not.
Okay,
Is
yeah.
that where it is?
It is.
Okay. It's crawled away.
To die another day.
Yeah, no. Hearing the word autumn reminds Cori what she's here for. She gets out her crow skull and she just wanders out of the room.
So I'm guessing, well, I understand the context of the Grimoire.
And Haterai says, it is the knowledge necessary, not just to traverse the plains, but to go to realms of pure energy. Where this Nightfeather sought to go was the realm of negative energy, like the flip side of a coin. From my readings, when one such as this Nightfeather go beyond, they summon a creature known as a Nightwalker in their place that will attempt to hunt them down, to remove them from this place, from this negative energy plane. What this individual did was instead bound the creature that was summoned to hunt him into the grimoire. No hunter free to
Free
explore.
reign.
Harurai nods. Just very good. Top of the class.
But does that mean that the creature still lives within the grimoire?
And Harurai nods. Last I was aware, that is also where my powers come from.
I guess the collective knowledge of whoever this Night Feather person was. This creature is drawing on that knowledge and feeding it over to you.
And Harurai shrugs. Possibly.
Working theory. See, Night Feather was a student of Brother Groon's. You'll say to the other party members.
You look over and there's just a distinct outline of Cori not there. Just boop, boop, boop.
Caelum, will you just come here for a second?
Takes a knee. Don't hit me.
Is that your handwriting?
Yeah.
How does he have a book that you haven't written yet? Wait, did you write this book already?
Probably my past life did.
Oh shit, that's right. You elves are kind of weird like that. Oh fuck, where'd Cori go?
Can you make sure she's not getting into trouble, Gwen?
You got it. Find out what you can about this guy. I have no idea what's going on. So I'm just gonna. I'll be right back. She just scurries out of the room.
Okay.
Caelum will turn to Arjhan and Harurai. If I'm going to get any insight on this Night Feather person, I'm going to have to read that grimoire, if that's fine with the two of you.
And Harurai says, the last person who wasn't me who read this grimoire. Their body's upstairs. The person before that, it took her eyesight. Gave her something else.
Did I see him say Micah?
Yeah.
Your assistant?
One of my students. She was one of the best.
The tiefling as well.
Yes, as a matter of fact, she was.
Eyes like galaxies?
Harurai just like looks at you with a raised eyebrow.
This isn't the first time I've seen this book. It's been a long year.
Would you like to share with the class?
Caelum will make some tea and explain what happened in Soul's dream.
Okay.
He uses the leg leaves.
Okay. Weird flex, but sure.
Fig said they'd make great tea, so
Drink my leggy.
Motherfucker.
I'm not
that's
gonna
my
tell
son.
him.
Okay.
I don't like that implication.
So, you are getting tea ready up on the cathedral floor. As Cori, you make your way up, you see Chorin. Nothing has been done with his body. He is still just like laid down on the ground. LB might be saying something, but she's muted.
I was just saying, like, it's not the same situation as last time. Okay.
It is not, but I'm just stating nothing has been done with them. It's not like you have to worry about a bunch of people showing up being like, oh my god, it's a body! Like, it's okay.
Body has been discovered.
Thanks, Monokuma. And there is, laying on the ground next to a set of shattered pews, your left hand, Cori. And whereas before there was that deafening silence after all of the murmuring and the heartbeat and everything else, now there is simply the sound of rain, accompanied by an occasional dripping as broken parts of the ceiling just allow for rainfall to come down.
Cori kind of stands over it for a second before sighing, and she'll pick it up. Kind of clinically, like, this has got to be a weird feeling.
It is an incredibly strange feeling, I would think, because it has been so long since you have been separated from this arm. It doesn't feel like yours anymore. Like, being able to hold it the way that you are and look at it, there is a definite sense of, like, an out-of-body experience almost, but just looking at this piece of flesh that is in an armor set that I don't think...
I probably don't even own that armor anymore.
Yeah, I believe you
I'm
got new
definitely not
armor.
wearing it.
Yeah, because I think you had gotten new armor in Sertelier.
Yeah. I think that this is actually in the fancy armor that I got from Arask. Not Arask himself,
The
but
Isle,
like the
yeah.
island of Arask.
Yeah. And as you're looking at it, it moves like a normal hand does. Like the wrist kind
dead
of...
hand, right?
Yeah. It's not like...
Okay.
It's not like rigor mortis entirely. Like, there's still a little bit of flexibility in the wrist. It seems like it was preserved mystically.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely doesn't have the sense of just like, oh, if I just pop this shit back onto my arm, then honky dory, I'm fine. Like, it definitely seems that this is separate from you now.
Oh, certainly. She picks it up, and like I think there's a contemplative moment, and which kind of resolves as like a blink, look around. What now? She'll walk over to where Chorin was doing that ritual, and just kind of, I don't know, she's gonna try and like investigate what exactly he did to this thing.
Okay, make an Arcana check.
Okay. Stay dumb, Cori. It's 5.
Gwen, as you come up the stairwell, you see Cori at this altar, and she is leaning over her own left arm and just sort of looking at it very inquisitively. But Cori, you don't gain any additional knowledge. You know, typically when things die, they tense up and get really, like, you know, kind of like how Chorin looks right now. But this definitely seems like something stayed with it.
You alright?
Oh, yes. It's where the Raven Skull is pointing, and for the first time, I don't know what to do.
You mind if I take a look at it?
Feel free.
Gwen is going to look at it and see, like, I mean, she knows a lot about dead bodies, having caused a few. This arm seems like it was preserved in some way, right?
Yes. Gwen, you can make an Arcana check.
Okay.
Normally you wouldn't be able to, but I'll add your proficiency bonus because this is related to Goliath bullshit.
Uh-huh.
You would know. You hung out with those people. Just a little.
So that's a 16.
Gwen, you know that when warriors would fall in battle,
Yeah.
Typically, they would cast Gentle Repose, a spell that allows things that would otherwise die to maintain their structural integrity, for lack of a better word. And it seems like Chorin may have been gentle reposing Cori's arm to keep it from entirely rotting away.
Yeah, he's been keeping this. Fresh is not a word that I would like to use. Or we could burn it. I could give it a Goliath funeral since we're already doing one for Chord.
It's probably a good idea. But Caelum should have a look at it first. I need that season back.
What if it's in the arm?
That's what seems to be implied here. And she just kind of like moves back and forth as the Corvid skull points right at it.
We should rewind a little bit because the stream disconnected for a hot second.
Oh, no.
Yes, so...
There was barbecue sauce on my titties.
No, not again! So...
There was Season of Fall in my severed arm.
Yes. So Cori is currently looking at her arm. Gwen found out that it has stayed this way because of a gentle repose. It seems like Chorin was keeping it flexible for some
Creepy
reason.
motherfucker.
He's a weirdo. But he dead now. Dead okay. And now they are currently discussing how to get it back, I think. Or what to do with that there arm.
Mm-hmm.
That's essentially what we were arriving at. A Goliath funeral, which is to say burning it, was suggested. But we've settled on the fact that we need to take it to Caelum and have him take a look at it first.
Okay.
But like, I mean, your other spirits were kind of, or your other seasons were kind of like just there. I understand that it's not a physical thing and we can't just like cut the arm open and it's going to be like in the bone marrow or something. Right? Right?
Can't know for sure.
Do you want me to do that?
No.
Oh.
Like, we should have something a little more precise, I think.
I can be precise in my chopping skills.
Certainly, but we should have somebody who has a positive to their arcana do this.
They both pause and kind of look around. All right, well.
You just hear retching from the other room.
Oh my god!
Is he always like this?
It's everywhere!
Well,
Word Fangirl, thank you for the raid! Happy birthday, Word Fangirl!
happy birthday!
Happy birthday
It's
to
a
you.
birthday stream.
To birth.
To birth. And
To birth.
It also my sister's birthday, so happy birthday,
birth.
Stephanie, if you're watching the
So
show.
many nights in the courtyard. I should not finish that thought.
So,
Oh no, I got the thought.
why don't you take that down to Caelum, make sure everything's okay down there. I'm gonna take Chorin and start the rites, I guess.
It's more than he deserves.
Yeah, well, finding that it's probably the best thing to do. I didn't want him to die. I kind of wanted him to pay for his actions against the tribe.
Cori's eyebrows kind of shoot up.
What? I don't want to kill everything, okay?
No, this time the roles are a bit reversed.
We didn't really have a choice, so I'm gonna get that ready and I'm gonna talk to Chua, I think.
Okay. I'll meet you back downstairs. Shout if you need anything.
Well, I'm the loudest one of us, so I will.
Cori is gonna... I guess she'll wrap up the arm so she doesn't really have to look at it. It's kind of strange. She'll take it in a little bundle downstairs.
I'm getting like flashbacks to Red Riding Hood, like the movie.
I haven't seen the movie yet.
It's on Netflix.
Ooh.
Anyway,
Nights in the Courtyard. So, Cori, you make your way back down to your friends down below. Gwen, you said that you were going to burn Chorin's body?
I'm gonna start the process of the burial rites for Goliath. So like getting a pyre ready, and I think
Thankfully,
what?
there's a lot of wood.
Yeah. So just kind of that takes a while. It's not like I'm just gonna throw wood on top of him and give him a warrior's burial, I guess. And probably before she starts, she'll try to commune and talk to Chua.
Okay. When you go to communicate with Chua, there is a immediate response from her of just, is everything all right, my chieftain?
Yes. Found Chorin. He was messing with a grimoire, which is like a really bad
Like a book?
Yeah, but like bad magic book.
That's a fancy name.
Yeah, I know. It's whatever. Anyways, he was like trying to channel magic through it and it kind of backfired on him, and I honestly was going to try and bring him back alive, but his life force was kind of sucked out through the book. So, he's kind of like a mummy right now. So, I was just going to give him a burial. Unless I should bring him back and then you guys could talk to him.
I am not interested in anything that he has to say. Whether,
Solid.
in order to speak with the dead, we can activate the channels, yes, but whether or not they will tell us the truth or tell us what we need to know is entirely different. And I feel like with him it would be a waste of time.
Yeah. He was really against me being the chief. And I understand that. Like, I know I'm not a Goliath. But I really do want to do what's best for our people.
We understand this. This is why those of us who are still here are happy with the choice that we have made. We are prospering. Outside of the Shadow Giant, things have been going pretty well.
Yeah, and that's gone. So, like, we're good.
So you have shown your effectiveness as a leader.
That means a lot.
Removing threats, removing dissenters. We are here for you. We are your family.
Yeah. It's just hard being so far away.
And she nods. And says, well, if you do decide to come and visit, you know you always have a place. The chieftain's tent.
Yes. Just let the people know what's happened. And maybe have a little something tonight to, I don't know if celebrate's the right word, but the knowledge that that he's dead might be like give him a send off. Even if he was against me, even if he was a bad guy doing bad things, he was still part of the tribe.
To give praise to someone.
Okay, praise is not the word I used.
Things, even as
not the word I used.
A post-life celebration for somebody who opposed you could be seen by others as turning into martyrdom.
Fair. How about just mention it?
I will bring it up to the council.
Fair.
For everyone else, he died the minute he left.
Fair. That works. God, I'm so glad I have you. You're so smart.
And she just smiles and nods and gives you a thankful hand motion.
Do I have a niece or a nephew yet? Time has been really weird.
Give or take another set of months. We are still a bit out.
Fine.
And she nods and says, "But if it helps, everyone has been, all of the soon-to-be mothers are very healthy.
Good.
There has been no complications from that we are able to see. There shall be an influx in the tribe."
Yeah. We're
And
gonna
then-
raise some badass warriors.
And then she laughs and says, "Sigourney is both looking forward to it and also has an intense sense of dread. Raising,
Oh shit, that's right.
raising
Yeah, that's gonna
one
suck.
or two young ones at a time, manageable. We are looking at quite an influx."
Well, if she needs extra hands, I'm okay with raising the number of tent mothers that we have for a short period of time, you know. Or fathers, you know. Some of the guys can get in on it if they're interested.
She nods. But for the most part, she just sort of like, again, sort of like, slow your roll. It's okay.
Right, right,
We will find the right people suited for the job.
right.
You have your own set of worries, and after those are taken care of, well,
Yeah, speaking of, do you know anything about hags? Besides that they're witches and bad?
I was going to say they are spellcasters and not good. They play tricks. Many of them are well versed in double speech,
Mm.
and some of them are quite old. Older than even me.
I'm not going to touch that one, but I'm glad. That's kind of where I'm going next. Fight a hag mother.
You will want to be very careful. What reason have you to fight this hag mother?
She took something that's important to me.
Then I hope you get it back.
I will. I told you the Tempest talked to me, right? She said, goes into the story one more time.
Chua has heard it, but she's
Yeah.
down to listen again. You're
Yeah.
the chieftain after all, and this is kind of how she's used to things going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She doesn't have anything else.
Okay. And you proceed to then create this funeral pyre.
I'll wait for the others to light it.
Okay. And then below the cathedral, Caelum, you have just gotten done making some tea using some questionable leafies. Are you only pouring like 1 cup for Hadorai, or is it leg tea for everybody?
Tea for everyone. He's explaining the situation to Hadorai, leaving out everyone else's personal stake in it.
Okay.
So yeah, giant tree fae encased me in amber and showed me visions of a future to be where I owned that book, and Micah was my assistant.
Hadorai is just confused by all of this.
Magic bullshit.
Gives a very knowing nod at that one. His heart beats again.
Tea is set in front of him. Tea is set in front of Arjhan. And with the revelation of this book being Night Feathers, they were also a student of my mentor, the one who taught me how to use my magics. Though, according to them, that was a long, long time ago.
Well, is there any way that we could talk to them? Maybe they might know more about this Night Feather.
No, they are not with us anymore.
My apologies.
Also something, I received the book from the Silver Quill, is what I'm remembering. Or was it from Brother Groon?
You had gotten the book from him.
Okay. Yeah. I remember the last words he said to me, and it was, "I hope you don't turn out like my last protege." Something along those lines.
I wonder what he could have meant by that.
They died. Using whatever magics they were given, or attained in their studies.
And Hadorai nods. And thinks for a moment and says, what if they died? And then it was... And then you have the same...
Hi, I'm a Shadark High. I think Sea Nightfeather was the first iteration of me.
And Hadorai, who was about to take a sip of tea, pauses and then sets the teacup down with a quickness, stands up, and then he immediately leaves the room. And he rushes over to his library, and you can hear him just going through books and papers, and he is muttering something to himself.
Sorry I don't have cookies, Arjhan. I'm gonna see what's up with that. And he'll walk after Hadorai.
Do you need me to come?
If you hear me holler, have your crossbow ready.
He'll just nod.
Okay. So, Caelum, you are passing through the hallway, and as you do, that is when Cori is descending the steps down, holding this severed arm, this severed left hand in her right arm.
Mazel tov, it's a girl.
She just gives him a look.
Sorry, it's been a day. All things considered. Just to bring you up to speed, I know what my past life is, or at least a theory of it.
Really?
It was a wizard.
It's very surprising.
Yeah.
I don't believe it myself.
Mm.
That could never happen.
Alright. Tone it down there. I think Mr. Hadorai is digging around in his library, so I might try and help him out.
Alright. Is Arjhan okay?
He's having tea. There should still be enough in the pot for 2 more and some cups.
Alright. I'm going to need some help with this. She holds up the arm and it flops.
Oh. You need a hand?
Aha. It's got night season.
Right. Oh. Right. Peeks his head into the library. Hadorai, are
You
you
see
gonna be okay?
books and other things just flying like from the side of the entryway, and he is just muttering to himself.
That seems pertinent. Take care of that first.
I don't know how he sorts his library, and I think I might get in the way, but if you say so.
She just nods, gives him a encouraging smile, and she'll shuffle past him to go have some tea with Arjhan.
How is the tea?
The tea is honestly delicious. It's pretty floral, has some kind of like fruity hints to it. It's a little crisp, almost, but like not too crisp that it's like off-putting. And all things considered, like as you're drinking it, it feels very nice.
Don't drink too much; it'll give you the runs.
Because it's a leggy.
Yeah.
Arjhan, I would have you roll this, but you didn't take any damage during your during the last combat encounter. Cori, roll 2d4 plus 2.
Oh shit! It's a healing potion.
Get a leg up on the competition.
How dare you?
I can't. Stop.
Oh, how come RJ gets to do it? Just because it was his leg?
No,
No, it's
there were
because I had the
levels.
same thought.
I just builds as soon as it gets to a point. I'm like, nah, done. That was the third one. Okay.
I got fucking assuming that this is a healing potion.
It is.
Okay, all right. I get 9 hit points back from that. Rejuvenating.
Very.
Hair floof.
It's a very refreshing cup of tea.
Huh.
Can I either insight or perception Hadorai to see what he's looking for, to see if I can't hone in on it?
What's your background feature?
Sage. It
Yeah, you
lets
have
me
researcher?
Yeah, like researcher or something like
Yeah,
that.
you don't have to roll for it. That's legitimately, you took that background. You have this ability. It just takes you a little bit to like learn his system of organizing. And it seems like he is also getting used to his current system of organizing, as things were not where he left them. Last time he was present and up for things. So as Hadorai is looking around, in Elven, you hear him say, "The last child," as he is continuing to look around for things. And we're going to have a investigation off between you and Hadorai, who finds the book first. You both have they both have the same feature. So it's really just who finds it first. So roll a d20. Add your
23.
investigation. 23. Caelum, you find it.
Both their hands fall on the same book. They look into each other's eyes.
And then the kiss.
And they
Just a little kiss.
Just real quick,
yeah.
In between like searching, he'll call for Cori and put his shield down outside and say, "Can you take that with you over to Arjhan?"
We are having tea with a severed arm and a shield on the table.
It's a
And
nice
then he'll
sippy.
find the book, call Hadorai over, and start flipping through it.
Okay. And Hadorai unceremoniously just like takes the book from you and then just flips through as quickly as he can. And you see from the moment when you had taken this book, looking down, you see that it is the contents of a tome that he wrote. Like this scene, like it says on the cover, speculations on the last child. Or not H, but it says Hadorai, just in clear lettering, and then there is a symbol beneath that looks like a it looks almost like a Christmas tree in the shape, like a conical tree shape, and
Like a pine. Got it.
yeah, like a fir tree, and Order of the Noble Fir. Gotcha.
Got it.
And Hadorai reaches about 3/4 of the way into the text, and then, like, murmuring to himself while he reads over, and then looks at you, squints a little bit, goes back to reading, and he says, "Are you from the Shadowfell at all?
Originally, yes.
And how did you come to be on the material plane?" And he still is like looking through this text with his finger while he's talking to you.
He'll cross his arms. My Mother sent me here.
I see. And there's a pause. And then he, like, flips up maybe, like, 10 pages, passes it over, and then goes towards another spot. And he says, do you know how the Shadar-kai originally became the way that they are?
I get the gist of it. They arrived at the Shadowfell as normal elves, and over time and generations, they lost a part of themselves, forming into the Shadar-kai.
When an elf who
Dies.
they come back as a member of the Shadar-kai. We've explained this. Same thing, same hat, going 100 miles a minute right now.
Well, okay, so, just to reiterate, elves typically, when they die, they become elves of the same race, but the Shadowfell elves became Shadar-kai.
Yes, but it is not just those that went to the Shadowfell. That is not the stipulation. In this work, in an old hypothesis that I had, it wasn't those that went to the Shadowfell. It was those who believed in Raven Queen.
Yes.
That they were their like a cleric sort of connection.
They're patron.
Yes, that's the word. Thank you. Patron. Nightfeather in the grimoire states that they went to the negative energy plane.
Correct.
If they died on their journey, then that would posit that there would be one last child. I think that child is you. When other elves die, they are reborn, from what I've read, from what I've gathered, as adults, as fully formed, not as children. But
their memories are from their adulthood, or... I'm sorry, I might not be on the same page as you right now.
Well, obviously, there's only one book. But for the first iteration, what if they didn't turn into adult forms of themselves? What if it was a much more natural thing, as they were still holding on to natural elements of themselves, as a sense of phasing in a new generation? If some of them are dying and coming back as Shadar-kai, and others are still as either wood elves, high elves, that sort of thing, but they're able to still intermingle, still able to be together, then there would be reason to believe that there would be children, there would be young ones. It's not like we have fully formed adults then birthing fully formed adults. That would be insane and actually kind of interesting to research about, but that's besides the point. If
Wait,
then
when a Shadar-kai dies, a fully formed adult Shadar-kai is born.
from...
Quote, unquote.
Yes. But if you were born, if you were a child, that would mean that first generation rules were still in effect. If you were born, if you were not created as you are now, that explains the handwriting. That explains, well, the fate of Nightfeather, sadly, but that's besides the point.
That would explain why I have no memories of my past lives.
It's because there was only one life to take from. Nightfeathers.
his soul was in the negative energy plane, and it was guided to whatever happened to me and my parents.
Yes. At least that is my hypothesis.
What are the repercussions?
Have you... When... Has anything happened to you that would make you believe that you are connected? Have you seen any, like, shadow giant-like figures coming after you in the evening? Have there been any kind of, I don't know, negative repercussions? Have you been able to do things beyond the comprehension of others? Old things.
Yes, you could say that. The teacher
He
that I
said
mentioned.
he said that you and his previous student were that of the same, and his previous student is the spell book.
Right. It is an old, forgotten magics. I was taught to use it.
I will trust you on this one.
I don't want to espouse any more because it's a bit dangerous.
That is understandable.
I was
Yep.
14 again at some point using it. But that's neither here nor there.
Huh. That sounds weird. But
It was weird.
that makes sense. All things considered. There is the weave, the magical essence that creates everything, and then there is the flip side of that, right? There is that what is it, shadow weave.
The shadow weave that
But
Shark
then
controls.
there is positive energy, and then there is negative energy, and these two elements are outside of the weave.
So it's not a coin, it's more of an axis. Got it.
Yes. God, you are just... I wish I had had you in my classes. This would have made research so much more fun. Micah would have loved you.
I wish I had more formal schooling, then I wouldn't be in the predicament that I'm in.
Well, if you need a teacher, I am willing to show you
I'm taking
everything.
an off year right now.
That's all right. Understandable. Sabbatical. I get it.
Alright. So, where were we? Axis, weave,
Axis,
positive,
weave,
negative.
Positive, negative energy. Negative energy is not a lack thereof in terms of energy. If you're looking at things like walking fast, right? Like if you are moving, in the state of moving, that would be considered positive energy. But if you were at a standstill, then that would be considered negative energy. Energy that isn't there yet, but can be used. I'm going to coin a phrase here, but I'm going to call it potential energy.
So,
So
alright.
the wizards of old were able to draw on the forces of this potential energy outside of the realms of the weave, and through that they were able to do all sorts of things, but it was never... It's a facsimile. It is... They can... Here. And Hadarai will concentrate and lower his hands down, and as he brings his hands up, you see shadows along the ground stretch from each of the books and form into the shape of a mastiff. But as you look at it, there is like a matte texture over its eyes. There is a lack of luster on this mastiff. And it wags its tail, like moves around a little bit, but it is just so slightly off from being correct. The powers of negative energy, of this potential energy, they can create life. But it's not life.
No,
It's potential life.
it just needs an impetus to go one further into actual life.
That is where we stand at the center in the material planes. We get a wash of potential and actual energies, positive and negative. Everything that is here within the planes exists the way that it is because of the influence of both sides.
Huh. Well, alright then.
And Hadorai just like grabs you by the side of your face, kisses your forehead, and just, I haven't had a breakthrough like this in so long. Thank you.
It was my pleasure, but questions have been answered, 100 more in each place.
Isn't it wonderful?
It's terrifying.
Exactly. And Hadorai has like an almost concerning level of like, yeah, more questions.
Should we also consider that, you know, in the realms of could we, should we,
What?
there's repercussions doing things.
The only time that you should ever ask yourself, should we or shouldn't we, is usually going to be in post.
That's good enough for me, I guess.
If there is a chance that a spell that you could cast could cure disease for everyone, but it had a high risk on your end, would you do it? Or would you just sit there knowing that the possibility that you had of doing that thing could have worked and you did nothing to further its progress?
You, sir, are getting into Raven Queen logic with the Sundering.
And Hadorai...
Look how that turned out.
And Hadorai looks at you, and there is definitely that, like, not everything is well in the state of Hadorai at this point in time. Like, he's definitely a little off his rocker, but it's for science. I mean, magic. Meanwhile, in the other room, Arjhan, Cori, how are you enjoying tea? How's it going?
God, there's probably a long, awkward silence. As
There
the two
is.
of them are just sitting and enjoying a cup of tea.
You just drop a severed arm on the table.
She not unceremoniously. It's covered, and she like places it there, but it's pretty clearly arm shaped.
Is this your arm?
Now it's turning into a psychological question. Physically, it was once.
What do you plan on doing with your arm?
She just like holds up her Corvid skull and shows how it's pointing towards it. I have no idea.
Is your autumn season within this arm?
I'm almost certain.
Do you know how you're going to get your autumn season out of this severed arm?
Absolutely not. Long swig from Arjhan.
Let's have a look.
She will scoot it towards him and unwrap it.
He is going to just like tap his claws on the table. And as he does, they actually do light up, or they get this like iridescent like sheen over them in the chromatic colors. I'm casting guidance on myself. And taking a look at this arm.
Okay. Make you're trying to find where the season is within this arm?
Yes.
Make an Arcana check? Seems like the most appropriate, unless you can sell me otherwise.
Can I also assist him?
Yeah, I'd say you'd have advantage on this.
Okay, my page decided to stutter. Okay. And guidance is a D4. Yes. Come on, baby. 20.
Okay, so with a 20, no one has bothered taking off the gauntlet yet from this hand. And when you do, there are 2 fingers that are missing. The pinky finger and the ring finger of this hand are gone.
Were you particularly attached to those fingers, and do I do not mean literally.
So far, the only attachment I have to this object is what it can give me.
There doesn't seem, from your standpoint, Arjhan, to be anything magical still about this. You get the sense that this was like gentle repose. There was something that has been keeping it in its more like flexible state. But as far as housing some prolific magical ability inside of it, you don't really get a sense of that as you're looking over this.
What?
So, magical effects have happened to it, but as you're scanning it and as you're checking this thing out, trying to find, okay, where would the season be? You're like poking at it and trying to see if maybe you can coax it out, that sort of thing. But there doesn't seem to be any response from it. It seems like it is just an arm to you that has had these effects cast upon it that have kept it as such.
Cori will set about
I mean,
removing all of the different parts of the armor and just kind of setting them out across the table.
I mean, if you believe that your season is within here, I believe you, but if there's anything magical about it, I can't put my finger on it.
Neither can I. Having, like, disassembled everything, she's going to pass the Corvid skull over it once more.
Yeah, Corvid skull is showing that fall is with this arm.
I see. What color is the arm?
At this point, it was a nice fleshy color. I believe that you were in Raven form when it initially went missing, so it would be a grayish color and has since further grayed. And you can actually see that there are some like deep veins that are on the skin itself from where blood has coagulated. But other than that, it is just a severed arm.
fingers that are missing, they were probably used for components, scrying. Does that sound right to you?
I mean, sure. A token of your target. Certainly helpful in some spells. I don't know if they're actually consumed or not. I'm not a spellcaster anymore. And it's actually really hard to think about it.
If they aren't consumed in spellcasting, then it's very concerning where those fingers are. She's just gonna, like, thoughtfully reach out and just kind of place her hand over the other one.
There's no response. It doesn't hold your hand back, you weirdo.
Well, you know, just kind of like this, just splay the fingers over each other. Oh god.
Yeah. You were just hand over hand. Caelum, you look like you have something on your mind. Wonder what it could be.
After all this talk, they probably rambled on for a few more minutes, and Caelum will make his way back to the party.
And you were just seeing Cori with her hand over this severed arm.
Low 5. Too slow.
What's the situation?
I don't know. We haven't been able to figure anything out. I have a couple of fingers missing.
Ugh. Detect magic.
Oh, why didn't I think of that?
Okay. Definitely some necromancy going on right here.
Nasty.
There was traces of divination where the fingers are missing.
Oh.
But that's it.
I think he used your fingers for scrying magic.
That's what I was hoping.
I don't detect any other magic besides a faint hint of necromancy and the divination. But are you sure the Corvid skull is pointing to your arm?
I've moved it several places. I've taken the gauntlet off, disassembled it, laid it out across the table. It points only to the arm.
Kim will lay a handkerchief over it and pick it up. I'll see what I can do. And he will take the arm over to where Hadorai is and poke his head in.
Hadorai has flipped open a new ledger that you see doesn't have much in terms of writing on it, but he is frantically dipping a quill into an ink pot and then is beginning to write something down.
Hadorai, when you said that if you had the ability to cure diseases for everyone, but with repercussions to yourself,
Yes.
how far yes in are you on that?
When I set out on my journey, I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to enlighten people and inspire them. And if I find myself burning at a pyre of my own making so that I may shed my light upon others, then so shall it be.
Shining star. Do you have any place here that is strong enough to hold back a backlash?
What kind of backlash? We are many, many miles away from civilization, I hope. Unless anything's changed.
Immediate area?
Immediate area, well... The forest is as good a place as any. What kind of backlash are you expecting?
Potential energy?
Wonderful.
Spended energy? And he'll point to himself. Impetus.
This may sound rather strange, and he sets his quill down. Do you mind if I watch?
Someone's got to take notes, I guess.
So you're open to the idea?
Caelum will make his way outside with the arm.
Okay. Gwen, you are in the process of putting trees into a pyre. You have 20 strength. Even with the strength that was sapped away, you guys have been hanging out long enough for a short rest. You're good. And so it's actually very easy. Versus when you guys were building pyres back when encountering cave fishers oh so long ago. This is a one woman show. You can easily do this.
Solid. Gwen's just like she's stepping back and like looking at it, making sure everything's ready, and kind of she puts her hand on her chin as Caelum comes out, and she's like, "What's up?"
Magic bullshit.
Ah, fuck, hold on, wait, come back out. Go back in and come back out.
Walks
Just
out.
do it for me, please.
2 steps back, 2 steps out.
Sup, liches?
Hadorai, like, squints a little bit. Like, looks at Caelum.
Bye, Connor.
God.
Something's happening.
Look, there's only so many things that I can use in there, and that's one of them. All right.
Speaking of, question. Hadorai and Caelum exit below the cathedral.
Yeah.
Arjhan and Cori, are you guys just, like, watching him exit and then go?
I want to say that Cori would have hovered a little bit regarding the arm, and she would kind of like scamper after him, and just be. I'm sorry. What are we doing?
And Arjhan, are you following Cori and Caelum and Hadorai up to the surface, or are you just going to stay underneath the cathedral?
I'll follow.
Okay. So Gwen has made Caelum re-enter the cathedral and then come back out with the sup liches line to Hadorai's curiosity. But now you're all here in the same place at the same time.
Weird.
I'm gonna try and coax the season out.
How are you planning on doing that?
Yes, how?
Cracks his knuckles. Magic bullshit.
You see Hadorai cast a spell, and it looks like a hovering disc behind him, and then he just sits down on it.
Bless. Is this the kind of magic bullshit that you're not allowed to use?
Ballparking it.
Are we doing magic bullshit?
He will.
She's gonna reach for her arm.
All right, as long as you guys are safe, I'd rather you practice it in the house.
She's gonna try and reach for her arm to take it away from him.
Cori, you're gonna have to trust me on this one.
I can't have you hurt yourself on my account.
Didn't I tell you I don't get hurt anymore?
Debatable.
Her eyes soften a little bit, and then she's gonna try and snatch it.
Make a sleight of hand check.
This is where Civil War starts.
You can't have it!
Just let me do something cool.
There is a sound as a dome appears around Haterai.
Oh, okay.
And he,
Alright,
motions for Gwen and Arjhan to come into this dome as he casts Tiny Hut.
9.
That takes a minute.
Yeah, they
What am I rolling?
yours would also be a dexterity save?
Suck a dick, 18.
Okay.
So yeah, Cori goes to try and grab it. You manage to... No, let me do something cool and magic.
Okay, kids, what are we doing exactly?
Yes, use as many descriptive adjectives as you can.
No. Keep it as simple as possible so I can understand it.
It's for
But
magic
actually-
science.
But actually say what you're about to do.
Right.
In our talking with Haterai, I have gleaned some things, and I think I can use the weave to try and coax the season out.
Use the weave.
Remember how we just talked about we're not going to use the weave in a weird ways? Like, isn't your goddess, like, really pissed off about that thing? Aren't you a magic cop now?
You're a
It's
magic
myself.
cop?
You have to tell me.
Cori just kind of gestures to the rest of the group. And she says, "Give me one night."
To
I promise.
do what?
I promise if I can't do it, then I'll let you try whatever you want.
Caelum, it is her arm.
It is her arm. He'll hand it over.
She takes it, and just kind of tucks it under her other arm, and she says, "I'll be back. But I have to do it alone.
Where are you going?
I'm elfing off."
Ha! I've never heard that
Is
one
anybody to
before.
stay for my pyre?
Sure.
Thank you, Arjhan. You're a good friend.
Caleb.
I mean, if there's anybody else who understands burning their enemies.
Fair. Gwen doesn't know any final rights, so she's just gonna say, like, you were kind of a dick, and you didn't think I was a good leader, but I'm gonna prove you wrong. I mean, I already have, but, like, I'm gonna be the best leader that I can be. Bitch.
Ceremony, don't come back, bitch.
Okay. And Cori, where are you going?
She's gonna go find a dark hole.
Okay. And is that where you are spending your evening, is just away from the group?
Yeah.
Okay.
She has a particular goddess of knowledge that might be willing to shine a little bit of, well, I would say light on the subject, but that's not really her purview.
This is
Give you a
fair.
nugget of wisdom.
What?
So, Cori is absconding for the evening. Caelum, Gwen, Arjhan, you light this pyre. Is there anything else that you want to do over the evening?
Quick prayer to Mistra. This is gonna suck.
I think Gwen would try to get a better understanding of what exactly Caelum was going to do. He's going to have to explain it like 3 times to her before she, like, this is like a level. It's like someone trying to explain like astrophysics to someone in simple terms, which is not easy. Big star, go boom.
Well, yes, actually.
Well, then why didn't you just say that?
We were in a moment. There was a lot going on.
Just run your ideas by the professional.
Who's that?
I don't know. I assume it's this person.
Yes. Yes, tell me exactly in grand detail what you were wanting to do.
And tell him if he's doing something particularly dangerous.
Yeah, I will be one of the first.
No. Caelum,
No.
tell him if he's doing something. How old are you, sir?
Up there.
You're an elf?
Yes.
A high elf?
Yes.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
While for what exactly?
Sex.
Caelum, how dare you assume what I was talking about?
You're propositioning to him, and he's just gonna.
I
walk
was
away.
not. Oh, I meant human contact. I actually meant human contact.
Arjhan will walk off.
No, really, no, sir. I'm sorry. No, I'm going to go rescue my betrothed after this. So I'm really upset.
I see. Well, if that is the case, it's I don't know, few decades.
But you were like sleeping.
Meditating.
Yeah. Everyone left, and I don't know what to do now because I don't know
You're
what.
not really my type.
Yeah, no, I really am good. I don't know. I thought it was funny, and then everyone left, and I don't know what to do.
Well,
Do you like alcohol?
It's been a while since I've had any wine. Do you have wine?
I have something like wine.
What is like wine?
Liquor?
Close enough. Okay. So, Cori, while you are waiting for this dark goddess of knowledge to reveal secrets unto you, there is no call. There is no response. There is no sneaky visit with the smooth-talking goddess of darkness. And as you meditate, you have a vision of a fire, of a great fire that rips through a pine forest. And as it does, you see that there are creatures that are running to escape the blaze. You see that these trees can do nothing but just accept their fates. But you see pine cones along the ground. And as this wave of destruction washes over them, you see them rumble and then pop. And you see their seeds actually shooting out from the cones. And as you continue to meditate, it is almost like watching a time lapse of watching the forest regrow from this horrific fire and watching the seeds from these pine cones grow. And the only way that these seeds were capable of growing was through the death of others, of the other trees within the forest. When you come to from your meditation, it is still early in the morning. And going back towards the cathedral, the pyre has turned into a smoldering pile. It is just a mound of ash. And there is a sense of almost like a calling purpose that you have with this arm looking at this pile of ash.
She walks towards it, and she'll just place the arm on the ash.
And as you do, you see the arm sink down into the ash pile as the ash falls in over it. And you feel, at first there's nothing, and then you feel the ground beginning to shake as you see a form, for lack of a better word, begin to arise out of the ash. And it starts as a small plant-like sprig and then grows, and you see and watch as a magnificent white birch tree grows up and out of these ashes where you have planted your arm. And this birch tree glows with an orangish hue. And you remember what autumn means to an Eladrin. It is being a nurturing tree. If a tree falls in the woods, it will steadily turn to mulch and let others grow due to its sacrifice. And as you come to this realization, that glow sinks off of the tree and floats before you. And in the darkness, there is only you and the essence of autumn before you.
She reaches for it.
And as your hand comes into contact with this orangish energy, that is where we are going to call it for tonight's session. So I'd like to say thank you to everybody who decided to stop by and join us for this wonderful session. It's the Cyberwolf birthday show! Yay! Happy birthday, Cyber! I haven't forgotten. So, with that, hey RJ, where can we find you? What do you do?
Hey everybody, I'm RJ here on the channel. You can catch me at RJustice282 on Twitter and Twitch, where I tweet about nerdy things in my life and sometimes stream. You can catch me here on Sundays as Wally, the Shifter, Fighter Barbarian, in our Tomb of Annihilation, and on Mondays, of course, as Caelum, the Shadowkai Wizard Cleric in our homebrew campaign. Catch me over at the Hype Goblins channel early Sunday morning as Titus Valentine, a Warlock Ranger human who's out for blood. TheNakedNerd.com.
Hi, I'm LBHackEmUp. You can find me at LBHackEmUp on the Twitters and the Twitches. I always say I'm going to stream on Tuesdays. If you tune in, it might happen. I don't know. We'll see. But I do stream on Thursdays on my channel. Tomorrow night, I'll be on G Game Nights. Wednesday night, I'll be on Nerd Immersion's channel. Lots of fun stuff. Lots of things to do. I'm super tired, but I'm here for you. LBHackEmUp. Look at Danae Keener, DanaeKeener.com.
Hoi. I'm Cyber. You can find my stuff at cyberwolf1201.live. It's got the Twitch, it's got the Twitter, it's got the YouTube, it's got the Patreon. It doesn't got the stuff on Jabroni TV. Check out other streamers that are doing cool stuff. You saw, well, if you have chat pulled up when you're watching the VOD, you saw for Fangirl, she's on there. You saw me. You saw you might see EJ the Grey and Kyle with an N and other people that also show up eventually on here, and you'll see all these shows on Jabroni Tabletop. I think that's still a panel on there. So yeah, check that out. I don't have my games on there. I run the Monday game. I don't run the Monday game. I run the Thursday game using my Monday game character. Yeah. God, I'm tired. High Shelf Gaming. I'm gonna be a werewolf soon. I will. That's it. That's all I got. DanaeKeener.com.
Hey everybody, my name's Danae Keener. You can find me at DanaeKeener.com. I do nerdy drawings, mostly related to D&D and a lot of things on this channel. I play as Cori under the Elgin Paladin on Mondays, and on Sundays I play as Baz the Drow Rogue Fighter. Oof, why is it so hard every time? During our Doom of Annihilation game. Yeah, DanaeKeener.com.
And if you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey Acorns, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures. We do shows like this on Monday, Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and on Sundays at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/Indoor Adventures to catch up on all of the VODs, or find us anywhere where audiocasts are made available for free under the same moniker. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, we are going to be heading into our after show called Nights in the Courtyard that is currently hosted at patreon.com/Indoor Adventures. And I say hosted because there's no paywall behind it. All you got to do is just show up. Maybe give us some questions. Who's to say? Maybe you liked things that happened in this session. Maybe you didn't. Let me know, and I'll do my best to tell you why we made those choices. But until, I think for the next few hours, I don't know when we're doing it. But now that this is over, we're also going to be announcing the winner of a giveaway soon, maybe. So stick around, find out who won their giveaway, and that's our show. And before we head out, I would like to say once again, next week is our 100th episode. I said that last time, but that was a lie. This was the 99th. We have something very special planned. It is something that I've been working on and helping out with for the last year and a half, and I'm very excited that we get to finally show everybody what it is. I just don't want to reveal what it is just yet. But hey, tune in next week when we start. You'll get a glimpse, and we'll see you guys. Or actually, no, that's not it. But thank you to everybody who decided to stop on by. Thank you to these players for putting up with my bullshit once again this week. And we'll see all of you guys next time. All right, everybody. See you next week for episode 100.